Hi friends, I'm Sincerely Unique. Today I wanted to sit down and do another chatting video with y'all. About a month ago, I did a worst storylines of Final Fantasy XIV video, which ended up to be quite ranty, didn't it? Today I wanted to talk about my personal favorite storylines of Final Fantasy XIV. Some things I want to make clear in this are that I won't be talking about MSQ, just side content that I really think adds to the overall main scenario of the game and are totally worth your time checking out. I'll be ordering my picks per expansion, so do be wary of spoilers the farther you go into this video. Let's get started. Feel free to tab out, as I'll just be putting screenshots or quest journal entries from here on out. To ye who ask of things to come, give thought to what is past and gone. The first questline I wanted to talk about in this is the post-Heavensward Tales of the Dragonsong War questline, or the Paths We Walk questline, whichever one you want to call it. This questline is unlocked after finishing patch 3.3's main scenario and is a yellow quest inside House Fortomp. It was just one final goodbye to Heavensward's main scenario as you were heading into Stormblood. I did this before going into Stormblood. I encourage any Sprout who is not quite at Stormblood yet to go check out this questline when you can. It is totally worth checking out just to say goodbye to the Heavensward cast one last time, and it is such a shame because they never really did a questline of this format for Stormblood or Shadowbringers, really. I don't want to go too much into what happens in here or how this questline ends, but seriously, just take my word for it. Check out the Paths We Walk. My personal favorite trial series that we've seen so far from Final Fantasy XIV has to be the Four Lords trial series. So what exactly is a trial series? It is a series of 3 trials, and they usually have a really good storyline wrapped around it. Stormblood is featuring a familiar face if you recognize that. I love how the lore building this storyline had to offer. I loved how refreshing the storyline was compared to everything that was going on in post Stormblood. It was just a nice sweet break, and the trials, as much as I hate the mini games that happen during the trials are pretty fun and some of the best designed trials in my opinion in the game. I also really like that there were dungeons integrated in this questline along with the trials. Some people might have not liked that, but I thought it was cool just to have it gave it more substance, you know? No matter which expansion you're in, do take the time to check out any of the side content. Like, every single expansion from Heavensward onwards has a trial series, a normal raid series, and a 24-man alliance raid series. They're all content that's unlockable and could be in your duty finder for roulettes to make it less boring. What I really just enjoy about the Four Lords for me is the fun. It was just fun. Fun storyline to enjoy overall. Moving on to Shadowbringers, we have Chronicles of a New Era Eden, which is the normal raid series for Shadowbringers here. This is something you can unlock as soon as you're done with the main scenario of Shadowbringers. However, you cannot finish it until you are done with 5.3's main scenario. It's a very specific timing that is constantly suggested for this normal raid series. You basically want to start it immediately as soon as you're done with Shadowbringers. Keep going until you're unable to. And once you finish 5.3's main scenario, come back and work on the rest of this normal raid story. It is basically an epilogue to the main scenario of Shadowbringers. And it features a character that we may or may not see more of in the future. Who knows? I did not play Final Fantasy VIII myself, but the references to that game are wild in this. A character from the main scenario who really didn't quite grow on me as much as other people. Honestly, where most of the character growth for me came from this trial series. People can probably guess who I'm talking about. But if you really want to see more of that character, this is your chance. If you're interested in the lore of the world of Norvrant, if you're interested even building on the lore that's currently going on right now, this is one of those pieces of the lore that you should check out. One questline that I wasn't quite going to put into this video, but now that I have been scrolling through my journal and thinking about it, I think is totally worth anybody checking out. I am on my knees begging you. At one point during post Shadowbringers, Tataru or Kryl, one of them, tells the player to go talk to Flamine and Mordona. I paid attention to that dialogue and I actually went to go talk to Flamine. You get one final chance, one chance for Flamine to have closure on what happened with Shadowbringers. I'm pretty sure this questline unlocks as soon as you finish the main scenario for one of the Shadowbringers patches. I really want to show the final screenshot here, but it's very spoilery for this questline. Like this A Bounty of Hunters one, that is very spoilery. I don't know how far into post Shadowbringers you have to be. You could probably just be in like 5.1 really, but this questline concluded I believe in 5.3 or 5.4, one of those. It is the Void Quests. It is a special questline you get for completing all of the Shadowbringers role quests, which means you have to have a melee physical ranged, one of those two. You have to have a physical DPS at level 80. You have to have a healer at level 80. You have to have a tank at level 80. And you have to have a caster at level 80. If you are really into 14's lore, especially with what is currently going on right now, you need to do these. You need to do these. There is no ifs or buts about it. You have to go check these out. If you haven't unlocked one of the roles yet, now is the time to go check it out, which you really should anyway, because I really think everyone should play every single role in this game at least once. So what exactly are the Void Quests? They are a follow-up to the Shadowbringers role quests and the post Heavensward questline, the Warring Triad, which the Warring Triad is the trial series for Heavensward. I don't particularly like the way that storyline was executed. However, I really did like the trials and the lore building that questline had to offer. I didn't really want to include it and mention it too much in this video. It is, however, a prerequisite for the Void Quests. It is turning into this overarching storyline from what we've seen so far in post Shadowbringers. From what is currently going on in the main scenario, it could be foundationally important for what is to come in the future. I don't want to say too much about the Void Quests any more than necessary. However, it does have some tie-ins with Eden as well. I really enjoy it myself, just the connections that this questline has built and can potentially make in the future. I am such a sucker for the lore building in 14, and this questline is where the lore is at and where it could possibly be leading to. Next, we have Chronicles of a New Era, Myths of the Realm. This is a post Endwalker questline that you can pretty much do as well, it's an alliance raid questline. However, unlike the other usual alliance raids, you need to progress a little bit into the post expansion MSQ. You need to progress a little bit into post Endwalker if you want to get started on this alliance raid storyline. Now, you're probably thinking, Unique, your favorite alliance raid story is one that's not even done yet. Yeah. I don't even know what other way to go about it. I am usually not a fan of the Alliance Raid storylines. Crystal Tower was a Realm Reborn style storytelling at the end of the day. I don't care what it led up to later on. It was a Realm Reborn style storytelling. Void Arc, the Shadows of Mach, I was not that impressed with either. And Ivalice was really for the 5 people who played Final Fantasy Tactics. I could make a whole other video about how I feel about Yorha Apocalypse. I could make a whole video about how I think that is one of my least favorite works of Yoko Taro I have ever seen. Even though the Midst of the Realm storyline is not done yet, I immediately loved it. It was such a refreshing storyline, and is such a refreshing storyline, and I cannot wait to see where it goes in the future. I don't want to talk about it too much, however, it is serving a purpose right now as an epilogue to the Endwalker main scenario, along with the normal raids. Please do check both out if you haven't already and you are in post Endwalker. One final thing I want to talk about before this story ends is that there is actually side stories on the Lodestone. I'll try to link it in the description. Those are amazing. They add in so much lore for any side character, most of the side characters that don't really have much to them in the game. There is actually some explanations of what characters are doing in between expansions, especially a certain character who shows up in the middle of Stormblood, who, how do I describe this? You're kind of like, what are you doing here? Because he kind of shows up out of nowhere. However, the answers to what he was up to before Stormblood, the questions of what he was up to before Stormblood are answered in that side story in Tales of the Storm. There's Tales of the Storm, Tales of the Dragonsong lore, Tales from the Shadows, Tales from the Twilight, Tales from the Calamity. It's all this good lore building for even currently with Tales from the Twilight, we got important lore for what the Grand Company leaders were thinking in between Shadowbringers and Endwalker. They're basically styled in the way of novels. I would love to do a live reading of those stories sometime. Maybe I'll do it as my next video. We'll see. If you've gotten to this point of the video, thank you so much for watching though. I tried to keep this as short as I could. However, I'm known to be very rambly and have a hard time of knowing when to shut up. Let me know what your favorite storylines of 14 are. Your favorite trial series, your favorite alliance raid series, your favorite just quest line. And I hope I can see you in whatever I make next. Bye-bye now.